I'm Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com. Today's flute tip is on tight embouchure, no problem. Now, I'm saying that it's no problem, but it really is a problem. What I really mean is it's no problem, you can fix it. So, do you want to play with a tight embouchure? Not ever. Not ever. You don't want a tight embouchure. It's going to give you a tight sound. The way tight embouchures develop is usually because if you think back about when you started flute, if you could think back maybe a long time for some of us, yeah, it was a long time ago, when you were in 4th, 5th grade, so what's that, 10 years old or so, and you're starting flute. And while you play, you got dizzy. So I'm sure you all remember at least the fact that you got dizzy if you don't remember what that felt like. And that's because, why? Because as little kids, we think we have to blow a lot. We have to blow a lot. We don't know that really the less you blow, the better your flute tone is. And in order to compensate for that, especially if all you ever were a band flute at school and you never had any private lessons, chances are the way to combat being dizzy when you played flute was to develop a tight embouchure, and that means smaller. If you have a smaller embouchure, that gives your tone more focus, because the smaller it is, the more air you compress inside, and it's going to only let out a sliver. So if I play a high G with, you know, sort of a beginner sound, right? I mean, I played, what, 4 notes, and I was completely out of breath. So if I took another breath and did the same thing, I'd start feeling dizzy too. And so you compensated by I could play a whole lot more notes because I made this really tiny. And the only way to make it tiny is to firm up or tighten everything here, right? You pull the corners back, you make it a tiny little hole, and that's how you compensate for all that air that came out. Another reason why that tight embouchure developed was maybe in band in high school, you had something that all the flutes, all 18 flutes, because sometimes there's a lot of flutes, had to play in that 3rd octave, and the band director would say it's too loud, so half of you drop out, or only 2 of you play, and all the rest of you, 15 flutes, just sit there until that part's over and then join back in. And to compensate for that was to be really, really tiny, because then you could play a lot softer. So what is the big deal? If when you tighten up, it still focuses the sound, right? I tightened it right up, and yeah, I don't have a lot of air coming out. It's a decent sound. Well, the problem with that is, as you go on with your flute life, what you're going to discover when you're playing solos, so you're moved into doing solos, not just band playing, you're developing a little bit more than you used to, is that while that's okay, your range from forte to piano is about this big. You can't do anything. And if you heard anybody talk about different colors, that tight embouchure can't give you anything but one color. You can't get that woody embouchure like I would typically play a Bach sonata with a woody embouchure, and that has to be changed. That means my embouchure would have to be flexible. I would probably use a little less vibrato than that too, but it's a color change. Whereas I could go, if I want a more modern sound, and for that I spread out. But if I'm already tiny, because I'm already spread like this is all I've got. Now, let me show you. Let me play forte. Let me play really soft. So the difference between that forte, a regular tone, and forte was like minuscule, and then the forte to the piano was this much. Okay, now what do you do about it? Well, I have some videos that really talk and go into how to develop this loose, relaxed embouchure. So check those out. But right now, let me just say, what you need to do is elongate a little bit. So this makes you wide, right? You need to go long. Ah. You cannot pull these corners back and make it tight if you're thinking ah. Now, in my low register, I'm really very much ah. When I go up to the middle and high, I'm a little more ooh. But the thing that changes, I'm never e. Now, if I want a certain color that gives me edge, I'm going to maybe go a little bit e, like I did there, if I want a little edge, a more modern tone color. But the thing is, I've got that in my tool basket. I could use it and I cannot use it. It's up to me what I'm going to do because my natural embouchure is much more ah. I'm just much more open this way. I'm trying to think this natural look on my face, but you know, with people that overthink, or a student that just says, oh, totally loose, and they've done this. Okay, so I have to go, all right, well, we have to have some type of flute embouchure. We can't just, and just be totally natural. It doesn't work that way. So I just say, you know, loosely, an embouchure like you would blow into that Coke bottle. If you need to, find a Coke bottle, if they have any these days, or something, or take your head joint off and blow down into it and think, okay, I don't have to be this to blow down into the end of my head joint, such as, right? I don't have to. In fact, if you do that, you're probably not going to make any sound. I'm taking ah, and I'm just relaxing here. You can see that the corners of my embouchure are not pulled back at all. They're just ah. Whatever it is when I say ah. I'm going to keep that relaxed. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, here's what I look like naturally. I want to maintain that. Right? And that's at least that's a middle A flat. My finger can at least go in between my teeth there. They'll fit. So let me play. I've got just a natural embouchure, and it comes out nicely. If you start changing from a tight embouchure to a natural embouchure and a loose, relaxed embouchure, what you're going to find out is a lot of airs coming out really fast, and you might go back to that idea of, well, now I'm dizzy again. I've had that many students say, okay, yep, I'm dizzy, I got to stop playing. The answer to that is all about breathing and about support, and how support is pressure and holding in your air. And again, you can look at my videos on breathing and how you create pressure, and support are the same thing. So if you heard the term support, it's pressure, because that tightening of my muscles, that pressure I create, I control that air, and I can maintain this loose embouchure and not use up all my air. So take a look in the mirror. Are you playing with a tight embouchure? And if so, you can fix it. You can fix it quickly. I've seen some videos on YouTube that say, fix it in 10 minutes. Well, yeah, you can, but you're probably not going to be satisfied with the tone you're getting and the results you're getting in 10 minutes. You need to be thinking about your breathing, and can you, if you did it in 10 minutes, well, you know, half hour later and you're playing your Mozart concerto, are you going to have that relaxed embouchure? Probably not. You're going to go back to your old embouchure. So it's, yeah, maybe you can learn what it should look like and what the tone should be when it comes out, but you're probably not going to be satisfied with your tone if you're just start loosening up your embouchure because so much air is going to come out. You're going to have to learn how to control that air. It's all about holding in the air. And if you hold in the air and create pressure, this can be as loose as it wants, even up there in your third octave. So check out in the mirror what your embouchure looks like. Learn to loosen it up, to relax your embouchure. Use support so that you can still have a great tone and make your tone go from forte to piano. I didn't demonstrate that, but if I play that, let's say a G, really softly. Much wider range. If you go back and you listen to the range I had when I had that really tight embouchure, it was just so small. This was a much larger range. And now my spectrum from forte to piano can be much greater in all the different variations in between them. Pianos, the mezzo pianos, the triple pianos, the mezzo fortes, the triple fortes. I've got that all covered because I know what I can do with this embouchure. Try it out. You're going to enjoy working on your embouchure, although it can be a little bit of a pain in the neck. But no, you're not going to fix it in 10 minutes. It's going to take a little longer, and it might cause you a little bit of frustration. But you can do it, and you will love the results. That's today's flute tip.